Mom looked at me and said, "Your sister's wedding will be perfect. But when's your turn?" I didn't blink. I didn't flinch. I just smiled and said, "It already did." The whole room froze. Fork stopped mid-air. Eyes widened, even. The music felt like it cut off. My sister Lila choked on her drink like she had heard a ghost whisper. Guys, before I continue, make sure to like and subscribe. Because what happened next shocked my whole family. Nobody believed me, not my mom. Not Lila, not even my Aunt Carla, who loves drama more than breathing. Mom crossed her arms and said, "Daisy, stop joking. You can't even keep a boyfriend. How could you be married?" Layla laughed under her breath, that jealous laugh she uses when she thinks she's winning. "Come on, Daisy," she said. "You? Married? To who? Your imaginary friend." I kept smiling, because I knew something they didn't. I had spent the last 2 years building my life in silence, working double shifts, studying at night, saving every cent. I didn't tell anyone where I went on weekends. I didn't tell them whose hand I held at the courthouse. And now, right here at this perfect wedding planning dinner, all their fake perfect lives were about to shake. Mom leaned closer. "Daisy, don't embarrass yourself. No man wants a girl who still rents a room and can't pay her phone bill on time." I finally spoke. "Mom, I didn't say I married a man, you know." Her face went pale instantly. Lila's smile cracked like cheap paint. "Wait, what are you talking about? Who did you marry?" I looked right at her. "That's the twist, Lila. You already met them. And you didn't even notice." And that's when the front door opened. The door creaked open and every head in the room snapped toward it like they were waiting for a ghost to walk in. Layla's smile twitched. Mom's jaw tightened. Aunt Carla already had her phone half raised, ready to record the drama like it was her personal Netflix show. But the person who stepped inside wasn't who they expected. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. And that made it even scarier for them. It was Evan. Leela's ex-finance acute. The same Evan she had dumped because she thought he wasn't good enough and didn't make enough money. The same Evan she cheated on. The same Evan who disappeared after she humiliated him at her birthday dinner. Lila shot up from her chair so fast it squeaked. "What is he doing here?" She barked. "Why would you invite him?" "Mom, tell him to leave." But Evan didn't even look at her. He walked straight toward me. Calm, confident, almost glowing with the kind of peace that says, "I won in silence." He stopped right beside me, his hand brushing mine like a secret. Mom stared at us like her brain was rebooting. "Daisy, please tell me this is not what I'm thinking." I tilted my head. "You said no man wants me." "Funny thing, Mom. The man your favorite daughter threw away wanted me more than anything." Layla slammed her hand on the table. "Daisy, stop. Evan and we were complicated, okay? He was supposed to marry me." Evan finally looked at her, expression cold. "No, Leela, you were supposed to marry the idea of yourself you invented. Not me." Her face turned red. She hated being called out, especially by someone she thought she had destroyed, but the real hit was coming. Mom whispered, "Daisy, are you telling us you married him?" I smiled. "You kept saying I wasn't good enough for a wedding. Turns out I had one behind your back. And it was perfect." Before anyone could react, Evan placed a small velvet box on the table. Lila froze. Mom gasped. Aunt Carla nearly fell out of her chair. Because the box wasn't holding a ring. It was holding a contract. A thick one. Mom swallowed. What is that?" Evan answered. "That, Mrs. Thompson, is the part that's going to flip this whole night upside down." Mom stared at the thick contract like it was a bomb about to explode on her dining table. Lila's eyes darted between me and Evan, panic rising fast. "What is this?" "Evan, what are you doing? Why would you bring paperwork to my wedding planning dinner?" Evan calmly slid the contract closer to her. "You remember the tech startup I was building? The one you laughed at? The one you said would fail?" Layla scoffed. "Yeah, the little app thing you wasted years on." Evan didn't blink.
"It's
not an app thing anymore. It's a company worth $14.7 million. The room went silent. Mom grabbed the back of her chair before she collapsed. Aunt Carla actually whispered, "Oh, my God. Like she was live commentating a soap opera. Lila blinked rapidly. Evan, you're lying. You don't have that kind of money. If you did, you'd have told me.
He smirked. That's exactly why I didn't. You were only with
Me for the money you hoped I'd make, not the person I was. Then he looked at me with a softness that made Lila's face twist with jealousy. Daisy believed in me when nobody else did. Lila slammed her hand on the table again. Stop it, Daisy! Daisy can barely pay her rent. Why would you marry someone like her? I leaned back. That's the funny part, Lila. You think money decides everything. You think people like me don't deserve love? Or success? You were wrong. Lila pointed at the contract with shaking fingers. What is this for? Why bring it here? Evan took a slow breath. This, he tapped the contract, is the acquisition deal. A major firm offered to buy my company. We didn't sign it. Yet, Mom gasped. You didn't sign it? I shook my head. Nope, we've been waiting, and tonight was the perfect moment. Layla narrowed her eyes. Why tonight? Why at my wedding dinner? Evan glanced at her with a cold, sharp smile. Because part of the deal includes shares for my spouse. And Daisy is my spouse. The air left the room. Just gone. Lila stumbled backward, her mouth hanging open. You're giving her millions? Evan, stop! This is insane. I looked at her, steady and calm. You treated him like trash. You treated me worse. You mocked both of us. And now... The two people you look down on the most are the ones standing on top, Mom whispered, almost trembling. So, Daisy, how much will you get? I met her eyes. Enough to walk out of this house forever. Before anyone could speak, my phone buzzed on the table, a message from an unknown number. But when I opened it, my heart stopped. It wasn't unknown. It was Dad. And the message said, Daisy, don't sign anything tonight. They don't know the truth about you. Call me now. The room spun. Evan looked at me. Daisy, what truth? I swallowed hard, because Dad knew the one thing nobody else did. And if it came out, everything would collapse. My hands trembled as I stared at Dad's message. The timing was too sharp, too perfect. Almost like he knew this moment was coming. Lila leaned forward, sensing weakness like a shark smells blood. What truth, Daisy? She hissed. What is Dad talking about? Mom snatched the phone from my hand before I could react. She read the message and her face shifted from confusion to fear. Real fear. Daisy, Mom whispered. What have you been hiding?
Evan.
Stepped closer, protective instantly. Daisy, whatever it is, you can tell me. But I couldn't speak yet. My chest felt tight. Because if the truth came out the wrong way, everything, my peace, my marriage, my future could shatter. Mom held my phone toward me like it was evidence. Did you do something illegal? Are you in trouble? Did you lie to Evan? Daisy, answer us. I finally took a breath. No, I didn't do anything wrong. But Dad, he thinks what I did is wrong. Leela rolled her eyes. Oh, please. What could you possibly do that's so dramatic?
Evan
touched my arm gently. Daisy, talk to me. Their eyes were all on me. The room felt tight. I knew once I said it, nothing could go back to normal. So I said it. I changed my last name 2 years ago. Before I married Evan. Mom blinked. So, that's it? I shook my head. I didn't change it to Evan's. I changed it to Dad's ex-wife's last name. The room exploded. What? Mom screamed so loud the chandelier shook. Lila practically flew out of her seat. Aunt Carla clutched her pearls like she was having a spiritual event. Evan looked confused. Wait, your Dad's ex-wife? Why? I swallowed. Because she raised me like her own daughter. She helped me study. She paid for my night classes. She pushed me when Mom told me I'd never be anything. Mom slapped the table. That woman turned you against us. I shook my head firmly. No, she did what you never did. She believed in me, Leela sneered. So you hid your real identity? You think that's not shady? Evan, are you listening? She lied to you. Evan looked at me, not angry, not shocked, just searching. You took her name because you loved her? I nodded, tears burning my eyes. And Dad knew if he told Mom before the wedding, she'd destroy everything. He warned me not to sign anything today because he knew Mom would twist this into something ugly. Mom pointed a trembling finger at me. You will change that name back. Tonight, before anyone finds out. I stepped back. No, not anymore. She lunged toward me, but Evan moved in front of me instantly. Mrs. Thompson, he said firmly, Daisy doesn't owe you her identity. Mom's face twisted with rage. You don't get it. If she signs this deal under that name, the money goes to... She stopped. Too late. The truth slipped out. Lila froze. Evan narrowed his eyes. Aunt Carla whispered, Oh, dear God. I stepped forward slowly. Mom. Who exactly does the money go to? Mom's lips trembled. To her. The air tore open. You mean, I said softly, Dad's ex-wife, the woman you hate, would legally become part owner of a multi-million-dollar deal? Mom didn't answer. She didn't have to. Evan looked at me, then at Mom, then at the contract. And with the coldest voice I had ever heard him use, he said, So that means Daisy isn't the problem. You are. Before anyone could breathe, the front door swung open again. And this time, it was Dad. Dad stood in the doorway, chest rising fast. Like he had run all the way here. His eyes scanned the room, Mom shaking, Lila furious, Evan protective. And me, standing in the middle of the storm. Daisy, Dad said, breathless. Don't sign anything, not until I explain. Mom marched toward him. You stay out of this. She's about to ruin everything. Dad cut her off with a glare sharp, enough to silence the whole table. She didn't ruin anything. You did. Lila stomped forward. Dad, stop defending her. She lied. She took your ex-wife's last name. Dad nodded calmly. Double quotes. Yes. And I supported her. Because my ex-wife cared for Daisy more in 2 years than you two did in 20. Mom's face went ghost pale. Dad turned to me. Eyes soft. I texted you because I didn't want you making a huge financial decision without understanding what comes with it. Evan stepped closer. What does she need to know? Dad exhaled. Deeply. When Daisy changed her last name, she didn't just take a name. She took part of a trust, something my ex-wife created for her before she passed away. Mom gasped. Passed away. Dad nodded. She died last year. She left Daisy everything she owned, including a real estate portfolio worth, well, Lila interrupted. How much? Dad met her eyes coldly. $8.9 million. The room imploded. $8.9 million. Mom staggered and grabbed. A chair like her knees gave out. Lila's mouth opened, but no sound came out, just a broken, jealous gasp. Aunt Carla whispered, Oh, bless my soul. Like she had been waiting her whole life for this moment. Evan turned to me slowly, eyes wide with shock but not fear. Daisy, you're already a millionaire? I swallowed. I didn't tell you because money ruined every relationship. In my family, I didn't want it to ruin us too. Evan cupped my face gently. Money doesn't scare me. Losing you does. Layla let out a bitter laugh. So you two are just going to walk out of here? Leave us with nothing? Just like that? I looked at her, my sister who mocked me, belittled me, treated me like background noise. No, Layla, I'm not leaving you with nothing. Her eyes lit up for a second. Hope, greed, desperation. I continued. I'm leaving you with exactly what you gave me. I stepped closer, voice steady. Silence. Distance and absolutely no access to my life. Mom lunged forward. Daisy. Wait, please, let's talk your sister's wedding. I stopped her with one look. You wanted her wedding to be perfect, then let it be perfect. But don't expect me to stand beside people who never stood beside me. Evan laced his fingers with mine. Dad nodded proudly. And without another word, we walked toward the door. Lila screamed behind me, Daisy, you can't do this. I didn't look back, because, for the first time in my life, I wasn't the underdog. I was the one walking away with power, love, and a future that belonged to me. When I stepped outside, the cold air hit my face like freedom. Evan squeezed my hand. You ready? I smiled. Yeah, let's go build the life they said I'd never have. And together we disappeared into the night, leaving them with their lies, their jealousy, and the haunting truth that the girl they rejected became the woman they could never break.